Greg Monroe was slowly becoming one of the best big men in the league. He plays both the power forward position and the center position, but I started to notice that he's slowly deteriorating and not living up to what he should have become already in the NBA, and you'll see why in a few seconds. If you are new to my channel and not subscribed, make sure to subscribe because I drop basketball videos and I cover different topics of the NBA, and don't forget to hit the notification button to get notified whenever I drop a video if you are subscribed already. Once again, it's Third Ivy 195 coming at you with another video. Stay tuned. Greg Monroe was drafted 7th in the 2010 NBA draft. Things never started out too great for him. He started off slow. He made his season debut on October the 30th back in 2010 against the Chicago Bulls, but he didn't produce much. But to his defense, he only played for 7 minutes. He scored 2 points and grabbed 3 rebounds and had 1 turnover. The Detroit Pistons would go on to lose to Chicago that game 101-91. He would continue to come off the bench and he would get more minutes, and in majority of those games, he would play mediocre. He did have some decent games though, as you can see, but things would change on December the 10th. Monroe would start for the first time in his career against the Minnesota Timberwolves. In this game, he scored 8 points, had 1 steal, 1 block, and 1 assist, and grabbed 15 rebounds, which was his rebounding career high at that time, playing for 35 minutes. But the Pistons would go on to lose to the Timberwolves 109-99. As the 2010-11 season would progress, Monroe would pick up the pace and start to play solid, and he officially became an important young piece for the Pistons. For this season, Monroe averaged 9.4 points, 1.2 steals, 1.3 assists, and 7.5 rebounds. He was also selected to the All-Rookie Second Team, and he finished 6th in the Rookie of the Year vote totals, behind Blake Griffin, John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, Landry Fields, and Gary Neal. Greg Monroe would have a way better season in his sophomore season. He improved a lot. He would start in all of the 66 games that he played, despite not starting in all of the games that he played the previous season. And for the 2011-2012 season, he averaged 15.4 points, 1.3 steals, 2.3 assists, and 9.7 rebounds. The next season would be the best season that he would have statistically in a Pistons uniform, because for the 2012-13 season, he averaged a career high in points, averaging 16 points a game. He also tied his career high in steals with 1.3 steals a game, and he had a career high in assists as well. He averaged 3.5 assists, including 9.6 rebounds, and this was the most minutes that he's ever played in his career so far. In this season, he played for 33.2 minutes a night. As Monroe is entering his 4th season as a Piston, for the previous 3 seasons that he played for, he would score over 1,000 points within each season and grabbed over 600 rebounds within each season as well. He did this consecutively for 3 years in a row, and at this point, he was the only Piston player to do this since Grant Hill did it from the 1994-1995 season. Monroe would continue to play solid until his time came to an end with the Pistons, because things weren't working out with him and Andre Drummond statistically. But despite things not working out with him and Drummond on the court together, Andre was still begging for him to re-sign with the Pistons, but unfortunately, that never happened. During the 2015 offseason, on July the 9th, Monroe would sign a 3-year $50 million contract with the Milwaukee Bucks, and for the 2015-16 season, he never disappointed. He started in 67 of the 79 games that he played that season, and he averaged 15.3 points, 2.3 assists, and 8.8 rebounds. Then in the second year that he was with the Bucks, that's when you would start to see him decline, because this was the first year that he never started in a game. Plus, he would get the least amount of playing time at this point in his career. He declined statistically as well. For the 2016-17 season, he averaged 11.7 points, 1.1 steals, 2.2 assists, and 6.6 rebounds, playing for 22.5 minutes and coming off of the bench for 81 games. The Bucks would make it to the playoffs in 2017 as the 6th seed, and Greg Monroe never failed to show up in the playoffs against the Raptors, despite him having the worst season in his career since his sophomore season at that time. This was the first time that he would make it to the playoffs in his career. He averaged 13.2 points, 1.3 steals, 1.7 assists, and 7.3 rebounds coming off of the bench for 6 games, playing for 23.5 minutes per game against the Toronto Raptors. But the Bucks would go on to lose in 6 games in the first round. In this past season, Monroe would play for 5 games for the Bucks, and during those 5 games, he would average 6.8 points, 1 assist, and 5 rebounds, playing just 15.8 minutes per game. These were career lows until he was traded on November the 7th last year to the Phoenix Suns for a protected first-round draft pick and a 2018 protected second-round pick to the Phoenix Suns for Eric Bledsoe. Monroe would come off the bench for the Phoenix Suns in 14 of the 20 games that he played, and he averaged 11.3 points, 2.5 assists, and 8 rebounds until he was waived on February the 1st, earlier this year. 7 days later, he would sign with the Boston Celtics during trade deadline. He did some good things with Boston, but the one thing that stands out the most was when he got a triple-double earlier this year, back on April the 6th. He scored 19 points, grabbed 11 rebounds, and dished out 10 assists. And the Boston Celtics would go on to win 111-104 against the Chicago Bulls. He also became the first Celtics center to get a triple-double since Robert Parrish did it back in 1987 on March the 29th. In 26 games with the Celtics, Monroe came off the bench, and he averaged 10.2 points, 1.1 steals, 2.3 assists, and 6.3 rebounds, playing for 19 minutes per game. In the playoffs this year, he never really produced much because he only averaged 4.8 points and 3.2 rebounds in 11 games. So you see Greg Monroe slowly declining. So the question is, what's happening to Greg Monroe? And the answer is that he can't shoot threes, and it's hindering his career. When you look at big men like Karl Anthony Towns, DeMarcus Cousins, Marc Gasol, and more, they can shoot threes, and that's why they are so productive and get a lot of playing time. And that's just how things are in the NBA today, because Golden State is what forced teams to change the way that they play since 2015. You have to literally be able to shoot threes to win a championship, and not just that. Teams will respect you more when you are a big man and you can shoot threes. Even Jonas Valanciunas is slowly starting to develop from the three-point line. Also, Greg Monroe is slow and he can't guard the perimeter, and you have a lot of stretch 4s and 5s that stretch the defense because they can shoot the ball well. So that's also the problem. I know someone is going to say, well, look at Clint Capella, Andre Drummond, Hassan Whiteside, and DeAndre Jordan. Big men like them, they can't shoot, but the difference between them is that the teams that they are on found a role for them. No team has given Greg Monroe a proper role since he left Detroit, because I really think he should be starting. Plus, they never found his talent, and those bigs are athletic and can grab rebounds and play defense. That's the difference. Monroe's not gifted athletically, but if he gets better defensively or is able to start shooting threes, he'll get more playing time and get more respect, and it will boost his stock in the NBA, and he'll become one of the best and most dangerous big men in the league. But if he doesn't develop these things really soon, he'll find himself out of the league because he's going to continue to decline, or unless a team finds a proper role for him. But that's what's happening to Greg Monroe. But that's it for the video, guys, and like I always say, please like and subscribe and hit that notification button and comment below. Tell me what you think. Your opinion matters, and follow me on my Twitter and Instagram account. It's the same name as my YouTube channel name, and share this video. Peace.
Lil homie Zay ballin', he gon' make the league. Everybody stalling while we work just like we breathe. Summertime here and I still stay on the west. When it's time to do a show, we hit up DT.